Hello, and welcome to another episode of Movie Spoiler Alerts. Today we're talking about the 2017 horror film, Get Out. So let's get started. Chris Washington agrees to meet the family of his girlfriend, Rose Armitage. At the family's countryside estate, Rose's parents, neurosurgeon Dean and hypnotherapist Missy, greet Chris very warmly. Later, Rose's brother Jeremy makes unsettling comments about African Americans over dinner. Further, Chris notices that the housekeeper Georgina and the groundskeeper Walter are oddly compliant. Unable to sleep, Chris goes outside to smoke and sees the groundskeeper Walter startlingly running from the woods and Georgina staring cross-eyed at her reflection in the mirror. Missy catches Chris returning and talks him into a hypnotherapy session to cure his smoking addiction. In a trance, Chris recounts the death of his mother that was involved in a hit and run when he was a child. He sinks into a void that Missy calls the sunken place. He awakens, believing he had a nightmare, but realizes that cigarettes now revolt him. Walter apologizes for having disturbed him and confirms that Chris was in Missy's office. At the Armitage's annual get-together, several wealthy white people are interested in Chris, admiring his physique. Jim Hudson takes particular interest. Chris also meets a fellow African American named Logan King, who too acts strangely. Chris calls his friend, TSA officer Rod Williams, about the hypnosis and the strange behavior. He takes a photo of Logan to send to Rod, but the camera flash makes Logan hysterical, and he begs Chris to get out. The others restrain Logan, claiming that he was having a seizure. Away from the house, Chris persuades Rose to leave with him, while Dean holds an auction with a picture of Chris on display, with Jim Hudson winning. Rod recognizes Logan as a missing person and suspects a conspiracy. Rod tries to get the police involved, but he is mocked. While packing to leave, Chris finds photos of Rose in prior relationships with other African Americans, including Walter and Georgina. Rose and the family block his exit, and Missy hypnotizes him. Chris awakens strapped to a chair. A video featuring Rose's grandfather explains that the family transplants the brains of white people into African American bodies, and that the consciousness of the host remains in the sunken place, watching but powerless. Hudson tells Chris that he wants his body. Chris plugs his ears with cotton stuffing from the chair, blocking the hypnotic commands. When Jeremy comes to collect him for surgery, Chris bludgeons him, impales Dean, knocks down a candle that sets the house on fire, and stabs Missy. Jeremy intercepts him at the door, but Chris brutally kills him. He takes the car and drives away, but hits Georgina. Remembering his mother's own death, he carries Georgina into the car, but she is possessed by Rose's grandmother and attacks him, which crashes the car and kills her. Rose and Walter, who is actually possessed by Rose's grandfather, catch up with him. Chris awakens the real Walter with a phone flash, who takes Rose's rifle, shoots her, then kills himself. Chris begins to strangle Rose but cannot bring himself to kill her. The police appear to arrive, but it is actually Chris's friend Rod in a TSA car, and they both drive away together. So that was the spoilers for Get Out. If you have another film you'd like to see me spoil, please let me know in the comments below. Check out movie spoiler alerts on our various forms of social media, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.